Hello there, YouTube. It's your boy B3 back with another kicking movie reaction review. Today we are talking about a sequel to a very, very classic film close to all of our hearts, Son of Kong from 1933. This was the sequel to the original King Kong, Willis O'Brien, and holy shit, I forget his name. Is this really happening to me right now? Well, okay. I have my notes right in front of me, and I guess I just didn't put it. Marion C. Cooper. Okay, sorry. That was fucked. But yeah, Son of Kong, hour, 10 minutes long. You can watch it on HBO Max, YouTube, Google Play Movies and TV, Amazon Prime Video, and Vudu legally. You know, I want to tell you where you can watch it legally. It's got a 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb, a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 50% on Metacritic, with 61% of Google users liking the film. Here's a quick read-up. After his disastrous venture with the giant ape King Kong, promoter Carl Denham, played by Robert Armstrong, flees New York to avoid indictment from a grand jury. He sails off with friend Captain Anglehorn, played by Frank Reicher, and soon gets involved with singer Helene Peterson, played by Helen Mack. When a crooked sea captain kills Helen's father, she stows away on board Denham's boat, which heads to Kong's home on Skull Island. There, the group befriends Kong's son, who defends them against the resident dinosaurs. Came out on December 22nd in 1933, shortly before Clitmas. Directed by Ernest B. Schutestack. The budget was $269,000. Nothing to scoff at, especially in the 30s. Directed by RKO, or distributed, sorry, by RK Pictures, and music by Max Steiner. And the box office was $616,000. So it did profit. You got to make about double your budget to profit. So I'm glad that worked out for them. All right. So, Son of Kong. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's back then in the day, and still kind of today, honestly. If a movie was popular, they would pump out a sequel as fast as they could, which often led to the sequels just being sloppy messes that didn't have a lot of thought put into them. And that's what this is. I don't like Son of Kong. You might have noticed it came out in 1933, the same year that King Kong came out. That's how fast they pumped this puppy out. I mean, I still enjoy Robert Armstrong's performance. I mean, everyone back then was a bad actor, but Robert Armstrong's one of the better ones. And to be completely honest, I think the movie gets worse when they finally make it to the island. It feels like it takes longer for them to make it there than it does in the original. But it's more interesting. There's like all this drama with Denham and Anglehorn, you know, fleeing indictment. They don't want to go to prison because Kong went on a rampage and they're liable for that. They don't want to go to jail. So they're sailing around. They're getting very little work shipping things because, you know, it's not like they can go to the States because they'll be indicted if they do. And so they stop in this little town where there's like this struggling little performance, and the showman in Denham still wants to, you know, produce and whatnot and direct. And he kind of falls in love with this woman whose father is killed by a drunk captain, and she knows that he killed her father. He thinks he's going to get away with it. There's a lot of drama there between them. She does a really dumb thing by letting him know she knows he's the murderer, and she's like, there's like no police in their little town, so she's like, when the constable or whoever gets here in like a week, I'm going to have them arrest you. And it's like, why would you tell him that? He's going to flee town now. It's going to take a week for the law to even get here? Come on. Are you serious? Why would you say that to him? That was a dumb thing to do. I mean, I know she's grieving and everything, but she kind of like does it calmly and doesn't tell all the townsfolk. She could have just told everyone there, and they could have, you know, citizen arrested his ass or whatever until the police of sorts got there. Or she could have just kept her mouth shut from everyone, including the murderer. And then she wants to leave because she doesn't think she's safe and there's nothing left for her there because her father's dead and she had to set all the animals free so they wouldn't burn alive, so she doesn't have an act. So she wants to go with Carl Denham. He won't let her. There's romance between them, which seems kind of inappropriate because he does appear to be much older than her. She's probably like in her 20s and he's probably 30s, 40s in the movie maybe. He seems to be a good bit older than her. It's a little inappropriate, honestly. But in Denham's defense, he does kind of almost seem to know that in the film, and he's pushing her away, and he's not pursuing anything. At first, his interest in her is like professional. He's like, wow, you have an amazing act. I'm impressed. I'm an old showman, and I want to talk about showbiz with you. And he's not, it doesn't seem like he's flirting with her, and he's being a genuine comfort. He's being quite the gentleman. But then at the very end of the movie, she mentions that she kind of wants to marry him, and he's just like, alrighty, let's fuck, and smooches her. And it's like, wow, he came around real fucking fast. But yeah, so the other captain, he tells Anglehorn and friends that there's a treasure on Skull Island, because he's the one that gave Carl the map that he had in the first film. And he's like, oh, did you ever find the treasure? Oh, but there is no treasure. He's lying so that they can take him away. And then his plan is to start a mutiny when they get to the island, because all the sailors on their ship know what Skull Island is. The whole world knows now after the Kong incident. And the mutiny is sort of successful. They do mutiny, and they throw Denham and Anglehorn into a lifeboat, along with our female lead, who stowed away onto the boat that also happens to have her father's killer on it, which she didn't know at the time. Pretty funny. And the sailors also throw the kind of drunkard captain over, because they were like, you're not going to captain us. We don't want captains anymore. Also, you're a manipulative asshole. You think we didn't notice that? And they throw him off, which is pretty great. So then they're all on the island together. They don't trust the captain, or the drunk captain. I remember Anglehorn's name because he's been a character in several Kong films, and I know Denham's name for the same reason, but I don't know anyone else's. Sorry. So they run around the island, and like animals are kind of randomly attacking them, like a giant Pleistocene cave bear, a Styracosaurus. Styracosaurus is one of my favorite ceratopsians, so that was cool to see. But there wasn't that much really going on. The creatures aren't as interesting, I suppose, as the first film. And then Kong's son, who's kind of like albino-y looking. He's basically a cartoon character. He's friendly, he's goofy. He's basically a Godzuki of himself. Because they get him out of some quicksand. Because Denham feels guilty for leading his dad to his death or whatever. I don't know. So Kong's son becomes their friend, and then has a horrific, tragic death at the end of the movie. Holy shit. They find the treasure, which the captain lied about existing, but they still found a treasure, which was very odd. But then the captain admitted to it that it was a lie before Denham told him he found it, so Denham didn't have to split it with him, which was very nice. But they get back, and the point of the treasure is so that he can pay off all these lawsuits against him. That's why he's so into it. He can go back home and try to be a showman again. I would blacklist him from the industry, but whatever. And it's to pay off his debts. It's just for him and Anglehorn to be able to pay off the lawsuits. That's it. But they leave, and there's this huge, like, tropical storm or whatever, and it's destroying Skull Island. And they're sinking into the ocean, and the son of Kong lifts them up above his head until they can be rescued, and this causes Kong's son to drown. Like, holy shit. Insane. He was a lovable little cartoon ape, and they just kill him like that. It's a very weird film. But the island, when they're on the island, it's mostly just them running around, avoiding danger, and the son of Kong saving him. Before that, there's a lot of drama going on. And it was just a rushed film. It was just a rushed film. The animation and the stop motion's still fine. but there doesn't really seem to be as much of it because, once again, it was a rush. I mean, this is a stop-motion monster movie that they had to crank out in less than a year. So there's not as much stop motion, and it's not as complicated as the first film. This was just a cash grab. It was a cash grab. And I do hear that the next MonsterVerse film may be a Son of Kong remake, and I think that's a good call. I think there's a lot you could do. Like, Kong's running around in the Hollow Earth. He thinks he's the last of his kind. And then maybe he finds, like, a young Kong. And he's like, holy shit, I'm not the last of my kind. That's wonderful. And he's kind of like raising and protecting this new young Kong that he's found. I think that would be a really cool idea for a movie. A Son of Kong where Kong is actually around? Hell yeah. Give it to me, boy. But that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the link tree in the description below. We got eBay. We got other channels. Podcasts. All kind of cool stuff. That is it. Thank you all once again. And I'll see you all next time.